Hi guys, welcome back. Today we are going to be making a small batch vegan kimchi. We're going to use a pretty small head of napa cabbage for this, about 1¼ to 1½ pounds. Peel off any discolored portions. Then slice the head of cabbage in half. And slice each half into quarters. Next, we'll prepare the brine for the napa cabbage. Use ½ cup of kosher salt. Then fill the bowl with water. Stir to combine the kosher salt with the water. I like using kosher salt because it dissolves a lot easier. Carefully place the quartered napa cabbage into the brine. Now, as you can see, I didn't use enough water, so I'm just going to top up the bowl with some more water, just enough to cover the cabbage. There's still going to be a few pesky leaves peeking through the brine, so what I like to do is weigh it down with a plate to make sure that the cabbage is submerged in the salted water during the brining process. Cover the bowl and let the cabbage soak overnight, about 8 to 12 hours. Next, we're going to move on to the seasoning mix by preparing the rice flour paste. Add 1 tablespoon of rice flour to a saucepan. If you don't have rice flour, cornstarch should work too, but I haven't tried that yet. Add 2/3 of a cup of water to the pan and stir to mix the flour and water together. Heat the pan over medium heat and stir the rice flour and water constantly. The mixture should thicken in about a minute or two. Let the paste simmer for another minute. The paste should have the consistency of rice pudding when you're done. Once the rice flour paste has cooled to room temperature, transfer it to a food processor. Add a 1/4 cup of Korean chili pepper flakes or gochugaru. Add a ½ tablespoon of regular red pepper flakes for more spice. Then add 4 cloves of garlic that's sliced, and an inch piece of ginger that's been peeled and sliced into thin strips. Then add the light green and white parts of 4 scallions that have been roughly sliced. Add 1 Asian pear that's been chopped into chunks. If you don't have Asian pears available, any sweet apple like Fuji apples will do too. Add 1 tablespoon of kosher salt. Because this is a vegan recipe, I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of soy sauce instead of fish sauce, which is more common in kimchi recipes. Cover the food processor and blend everything until you get a nice, red, smooth paste. I'm also using a tablespoon of ground porcini mushrooms for umami flavor instead of salted shrimp, which is more common in kimchi recipes. When everything's all blended, you should get a nice, thick red paste. Now I'm going to chop the dark green parts of the scallions into 1½ to 2-inch chunks. Once the cabbage has been brined overnight, take it out of the brine and rinse it under tap water. Traditional recipes will have you rub the red seasoning paste in between the leaves of the napa cabbage, but we're not going to do that here. Instead, we're going to take each of the napa cabbage quarters and slice it in half, and then slice each of these halves into smaller 1½ or 2-inch chunks. That way the napa cabbage ferments a lot faster and it's just easier to eat the kimchi later on. Add all the napa cabbage pieces into a large bowl. Add the scallions, 1 medium carrot that's been peeled and julienned, a ½ cup of julienned daikon or Japanese turnip, and then we're going to mix everything together. Add the seasoning to the vegetables. While wearing gloves, rub that seasoning into the vegetables. You want to wear gloves here because the seasoning really stains your hands, and sometimes the spiciness of the chili pepper flakes can be a little too much for our hands to handle. Carefully transfer the seasoned vegetables into a jar. Wipe off any excess seasoning that's been stuck to the lip of the jar. cover up the jar, seal it, and let the vegetables sit at room temperature for 3 to 4 days before transferring it to a refrigerator to finish the fermenting process. After 3 to 4 days, give the kimchi a taste. If you like more sour kimchi, then leave it in the fridge for a few more days and then taste again. And that's it, vegan kimchi. For the full recipe and additional cooking tips, check out my blog post, which is linked in the description. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Until next time, bye!